Venturing in from sea, with a rollicking song he sweeps along. His swagger's boisterously. His face is weather beaten, wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his the bristling black mustache. Hey! Autumn wind is a raider. Autumn wind is a raider. Yeah. Growls as he storms the country, villain big and bold, and the trees are shaking, quivering quick as he flies them on his own. Autumn wind raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down. In left foot he's conquered and won. Hey! Autumn wind is a raider. Autumn wind is a raider.
What a crock of shit. You believe that bullshit?
Murder, murder, murder!
Most Foul. Welcome to Most Foul TV. This is Most Foul TV with your host, didnt.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Most Foul TV. I'm your host, Don T. Pena, and this is Most Foul Chief. We are in week 3 of Dan Clor watch, right? 2 weeks ago, I called this motherfucker out on this show saying, come take his medicine. Let's do this watch along. Come take this ass whooping, right? And I said it 2 weeks ago. We're in the 3rd week, and still no response. He still hasn't answered the bell, right? He's still ducking me. I said it. I said, stop ducking me, homie. Stop running, all right? And here we are, Mr. Clor. You guys know him. I've mentioned him before, right? That's probably the first time you guys have seen him. For those of you who don't, a good buddy of mine, unfortunately a Raider fan, so we got to hate on each other. But, like I said, he's still ducking me, and he's out here writing bullshit rendition Raider fucking songs and hiding in the goddamn forest staring at motherfucking squirrels and shit, right? What are you doing, Dan? What are you doing, Mr. Clor, right? Come take this fucking ass whooping, like I said, right? We're going to do this watch along. Stop writing bullshit songs in the forest, okay, about the Raiders, who suck, and come watch the reality of them getting their asses handed to them yet again. Okay, let's do this. And if you guys want any information on that bullshit song, you know what that was, right? So that was a Raider anthem type thing that him and his band Weapon X, who are a very talented group of musicians, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on the musicianship, right? Musicianship is solid. Some of the best musicians I know. Now the content, that's another goddamn story with that fucking song, right? Who the hell wants to write a bullshit Raider song, right? But unfortunately, that's what he did, right? He actually wrote that for the Raiders organization to see, that. And we'll talk about this, when he comes on the show, and I might make an appearance somewhere else. A little hint there on another podcast, right? And we may go into detail about the Raider organization and some of the work that American Warrior Festival podcast. You guys know I work on that too. I'm a producer on that show. And we'll talk about that, but that's neither here nor there, right? So he wrote that song for the Raiders to try to maybe, just as a tribute. And again, not hating on the musicianship, can't say I like the content too much. I don't know what the lyrics are. You guys heard the lyrics. It's like, when you break wind, it's a Raider. It smells real bad. Please lick my ass or something. I don't know. Like Clor, come on, man. You can't be writing those kinds of fucking lyrics. Okay, that's it. That's inappropriate. Okay, football is a family-friendly kind of sport. Okay, you can't be right. You're supposed to be a professional, sir.
A professional.
Supposed to be a professional. Okay, Can't be writing that kind of thing, right? Again, not my cup of tea. I mean, to each his own. If they want to write that stuff, they can go ahead and write that, but, whatever. So, moving on. Again, week 3, sir, Mr. Clor. We need to do this watch along. Stop ducking me. But so moving on to the title of this episode, you guys have seen. This is going to be mostly about the Mahomes contract, right? I do have to apologize to you guys because I told you a couple of days ago when the news broke, I was supposed to do an episode for you guys later that night, and unfortunately, I didn't live up to that promise. I have a job, as some of you know, I drive trucks, and I don't always get home at a timely manner. So I got home way too late to cut an episode, and unfortunately couldn't do it. So I was going to try to do the next day, and then I just decided, you know what, fuck it, I'll save it for the end of the week, and this way I can be prepared to get everything out, which has actually turned out well, because we got a lot more information. Some of what we had right at that beginning, like the whole part of the salary cap turned out not to be true. There's reasons why they said that, and I understand now, but we'll get into that in a second. So, and again, Patrick Mahomes' contract, Dynasty, Destiny, and Legacy, right? I mean, that is exactly what we're going to be talking about throughout this episode, and I'll break some stuff down, and I'll cover all that stuff that everyone's been talking about during the week. I mean, obviously, it's a big thing. But before we get into that, we got a couple of things that we got to touch on and go over. First things first, though, we got some new additions to the collection, right? I got some stuff to mail. Anybody who follows me on Twitter, you might have seen this stuff already. But let's go ahead and introduce one of the first new additions to the Chiefs Kingdom family. And let's go ahead and just look at this real quick right here. Yes, that is a Patrick Mahomes pop football collector thing. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they call these things. I don't even collect these motherfucking things. But, that was given to me by my sister, Julie. She ordered a couple of these, and she ordered me an extra one, so shout out to my sister. So this is going in the collection. Let's put him right where he belongs, right in the camera. King of the castle right there, right next to his rookie card and the Chiefs watch. Now we have one more. Oh, actually we have two more, right? So again, then something very special came in the mail the other day again. Look at that. Finally got it, right? I should actually have had that back there if I was fucking smart, but I didn't think about it till just now. Plus, it's only like 40 minutes or some bullshit. I didn't want to have to restart it. So that, the football game's like 2 hours. So obviously, we're not going to be here for 2 hours, folks. At least not today. And so, yeah, so we got that. I've seen the first DVD, but there is one more thing, and this is the one I'm most excited about. So let's just take this off here, right? I do love this hat. However, this one, I think, is just a little bit better, right? Yes, that is a championship hat. Here, let me show you the back, right? Look at that. Eat it, Clor. Right. And then we got a nice little Super Bowl logo there, right? And then what else we got? 100 years, right, of the NFL. There's the whatever fucking company the hat is made by. No, the cool thing I like about it, if you can tell, look at like the embroidery, it like pops out, which is kind of cool. And I did take off. I took off all the fucking stickers. I don't know if you're supposed to leave them on or not. I don't like stickers on my hats. I guess if I was going to keep it on the shelf, I'd keep it on there, but, So, now, unfortunately, this feels weird because I never wear my hats the right side, so I need to wear my hats backwards. It's just how I do it. I only wore it forward so you can see it on the camera. My hat's crooked. There we go. So now I got my championship hat. I got my championship jersey. And I really, wait, what the fuck am I here wearing headphones for? Sorry, I've been doing podcasts all week and I've been wearing the fucking cans. And I realized I'm talking to myself, so I don't fucking need these, right? So I'm going to take these off. Force of habit, folks. I forgot I don't need to hear myself talk. Now, when I have guests, I definitely need that, but I don't need it right now. If I pulled it out of the computer there, you'll hear an echo, which I don't want to have to fucking edit. So, all right. So that's the cool new additions to the family. got some cool new items and toys, and we'll probably retire that hat over with Jamal Charles there on the corner of the jersey. Give me a second. But let's get right into it, right? Patrick Mahomes contract. The $500 million man, which is kind of not true, right? Highest paid athlete in North American history. Again, kind of not true, right? Let me check my notes here. Let me open this up. And we'll get into why and all that stuff. Where am I going here? Give me a second. Sorry, people are texting me when I'm trying to do this. So, like I said, people are, it's funny that there's two camps on the whole Mahomes thing, right? There's the, he should have, like LeVar Arrington, a couple of other people, and fans too, like, oh, he shouldn't have signed the contract, got locked in that long, he's leaving money on the table. In 4 or 5 years, his contract is going to be obsolete and quarterbacks are going to be making more and all that bullshit. And that's true and it's not true, right? And then you got the other camp of people that are like, he took a hometown discount, and he how, what a great guy, like how unselfish, and he didn't take as much money as he should have, and he's not being, he's left a lot of money on the table, and the other side of the coin is fans that think he took too much money, or even people like, oh, like what's going to happen in 5 years when his contract kicks up and the salary, and he's making $60,000 a year, and they're not going to leave any room for other players and Tyreek and right now, yeah, early on it's not going to hurt us, but later it's going to hurt us and all this bullshit. Well, much like every truth or every argument, when there's two sides, the truth lies somewhere in between, and that's kind of the case here. Yes, he is basically the highest paid athlete in North American history. Yes, he signed the highest football contract in NFL history. Yes, he did do those things, but again, it's true and it's not true. And for those who seen the contract, here, let me do this real quick. Let me bring it up so I can see it as well and have my references here. He signed a $450 million deal in the course of 10 years. That's what the contract is. He's owed another like $28 million in change on his rookie deal over the next 2 years. So that brings it up to like 477 or 476 or something like that. The remaining balance that gets you up to the 503. Give me a second here, Patrick Mahomes contract. The remaining balance that gets you to that 503 is all the incentives and the bonuses and the stuff that he will gain by making the Super Bowl again, by becoming MVP again, by winning the AFC division again, or not division, conference, right? The AFC Championship. All those things, factor in to his new contract. So, so that's how you reach the 503 million, right? So, $500 million or whatever. So again, it's one of those deals where it's true and it's not true. Like it's potentially, really, that's the reality. It's potentially 503 million by the end of it if he reaches all those plateaus. Now, one of the things that they're talking about, it averages out to about $45 million a year. That's what it averages out to. However, here's where both are true. Yeah, he's still really paid a lot of money. He's the highest paid quarterback. And then you're saying, again, there's some fans out there that are freaking out like, well, damn it, if he's the highest paid, how are we going to compete and all that? And here's how we're going to compete with him still being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. The way the contract is structured, it's structured in a way where they're moving around money. So it's like if I told you I was going to give you $100 in the course of a month or whatever, we're in a week, whatever, just say a week, right? I'm going to give you $100 in a week. But I'm only going to give you like $25 today, and I'm going to give you $30 the next day. And, you know, you see what I'm saying? Like by the end of the week, you'll have the full amount. That's kind of how they're fucking doing it. You know, that's basically how they're doing it. They're spreading the money out over the course of 10 years. The first 3 years, he's basically being paid under the average starting pay of a quarterback as far as base salary. It's not counting incentives, not counting signing bonuses. That's not counting whatever endorsements he has. I mean, the kid's not, don't think that Patrick Mahomes is like, you know, working for peanuts. He's not. But the big money of the contract is not kicking in until about 3 years in, where then he starts to kind of get into the $40 million range. I believe by year 5 or 6, let me see if it says it on here. That's where the big money comes in. You know, where it's 60 million, I think year 6 is like a $90 million bump up, right? So the whole the whole idea of it, here it is. Yeah, and I got it in front of me. That's what I wanted to see. So see, like he has roster bonuses, workout bonuses, base salary, all those things kind of factor in. See, so next year in 2020, well, see, this year, 2020, he's making total cash, base salary, $825,000. You know, total cash comes out to $10,825,000, well below the league average when it comes to starting quarterbacks. In year 2021, the total amount, including workout bonus, roster bonus, base salary, all that stuff, comes out to $22.807 million. Again, below the league average. I believe the league average is like $27 million or something like that, right? By year 2022, it jumps not very much, again, to $29.45 million, right, is what he's making that year in salary, all that bonuses, things like that. Again, right now, Kirk Cousins is making, his contract was like $28 million a year, right? So he barely would, in 2022, is barely going to make $1 million more than what Kirk Cousins is currently making. Kirk Cousins is not as good as fucking Patrick Mahomes in any fucking stratosphere, right? So we got three, if you count this year, 3 seasons of money for that they can spend in other places, right? Well, they're not shelling it out. Check now. By year 2023, he's making $40.45 million that year. Now that's where he starts to finally get up there with the quarterback salaries, right? And again, that's still not that much. That's it's not 45 million, it's not 50. That's just, you're like, how is he making all this money, right? Again, so there's 4 seasons where they got money to play with. By 2024, it actually goes down a little bit to $37.95 million. By the year 2025, it's $41.95 million. By 2026, $41.95 million. So again, averaging out, like he's staying at that $40 million range. No problem. That's almost 6 years already of a lot of money to be played around with, where he's not breaking the bank yet. Now, by year 2027 is where the big money starts to come in, $59.95 million. That's where he's above the league average, way above. He's a $60 million man in 1 year, right? However, by then, in 6 years, the salary cap, who knows where it's going to be? It's going to be way higher. So $60 million, and this is where they're saying, like, why his contract may be obsolete by then, because now he's finally making $60 million. And by today, right now, yeah, that's huge, because the highest paid quarterback is only making, I think, 33 million, or Kirk Cousins 28, and somebody else 33 or something like that, right? So it's, 60 million, even 40 million right now would be a lot, right? 40 million would be the top right now. No one's making 40 million, 45 million, right? So in year 6, 60 million, that might be an average for quarterbacks at that point, for average quarterbacks, right? We don't know what the salary cap is. So, but again, and that's why people are saying, like, oh, see, he needs to restructure, because now he's going to be paid, he's going to be underpaid by then, even though he's making $60 million, right? Sorry about that. I hit the goddamn wrong button there, so it cut the fucking video. So yeah, why it's bullshit about, he's going to make less than the league average and all that, or not, he didn't make enough money. Again, it can't be true. And some average quarterback could possibly make 60 million, 50 million, 55 million that year, and he's nowhere near Mahomes' level. So you would think, oh, well, see, Mahomes, he got gypped. He gypped himself. He didn't, he's making less than those other quarterbacks. But here's the difference. And here's some quarterback may, at that point, be making more because the salary cap in the NFL might be a lot higher, so they're paying people more money. But here's why it's bullshit, right? Here's why that's not true. Because, yeah, some quarterback is going to sign a contract for $50 million a year, $45 million a year, $47, right? And what are they going to sign? They ain't signing no 10-year contract, right? Mahomes signed a 10-year contract. At the end of it, he's making $503 million. At the end of it. It's a 10-year contract. No quarterback has done that. And so these quarterbacks that are supposedly going to be making more, they're only going to sign a 4-year, 5-year contract for what? Okay, let's say they're making, it's supposedly $50 million. So it's $50 million a year, kind of, maybe for the first year or two. And then by year 3, 4, and 5, that number's going to drop and they're making some bullshit, right? And they're not going to know, they're going to hit nowhere near $503 million by the end of that term. If they even play out that entire contract, which most of the time, most quarterbacks don't because they just don't live up to it. Even the ones that do, I got some stats here. Even the ones that do still never made and didn't make and aren't going to make the amount of money that Patrick would make. He can sign this contract and never restructure, because that's the other belief too that we haven't got into, is that at the end of the day, they're still going to restructure his contract by year 6 to allow to probably even pay him more money. And maybe they play around with it some more and he makes even fucking more money because the salary cap might be a lot higher and quarterbacks are being paid more. So even then, you don't know. So it might even blow up $503 million and make more. But even if he did it, even if he said, this is enough money, $503 million, we're good. I'm good with that, $500 million. I don't have to do anything else. Here's why. Peyton Manning, his entire career, not counting endorsements, not counting like outside sponsors. I'm talking about NFL money, right? What he made with the NFL in his career. $248 million. Peyton Manning. Tom Brady, now yes, Tom Brady took discounts, blah, blah. Kind of, not fucking really, man. What they spend on? Now, he's an idiot, right? He's a dumb fuck because think about that. He took hometown discounts to surround himself with players so they can go to championships. Really? Besides Gronk, and he got Edelman, and Randy Moss that one year. But it's not like they were fucking lining up, Antonio Brown and Megatron back in the day, and like LaDainian Tomlinson or Le'Veon Bell. Like, where were the fucking superstars? Where were the superstars supposedly, right? Now again, you got Julian Edelman, you had Wes Walker, you had quality. They did have players. For them to bullshit and say, they always took nobodies and made something out bullshit. Okay, Wes Walker did well in other places. Danny Amendola did well in other places. The main guy that never went anywhere that we never knew was Gronk, and we're going to find that out this upcoming season, whether or not he can be good somewhere else, right? And Gronk was a superstar. So, again, where's this money that they're spreading out to other superstars to surround them with, like, mega talent, right? Now, you could make the argument that they just loaded up on depth, and they always had a good offensive line, and that's where the money was, where they just made sure that they had serviceable offensive line to give Brady time in the pocket, for sure. But, again, my thing is, like, he took a hometown disc for no fucking reason, because, and that's the other thing, too. At the end of the day, the reason why people would do that, like, we need money, so we have other places to spend to make sure that we don't spend all the money on the court. Here's the fucking difference. Those other players and everybody who says that need that. Okay? Patrick Mahomes, now granted, he has superstars on the team. I'm not disagreeing with that. And we may lose a few. But the fact of the matter is, he himself is the best fucking player in football. Tom Brady could never say that. Peyton Manning could never say that. Russell Wilson could never say that they were hands down the best fucking player. They might have been the best quarterback at that time for that moment, but you couldn't say they're the best player. Patrick Mahomes is the best player for what he does on the field. From his as a quarterback, his leadership, his instincts, the way he improvises. He changes the game. His arm strength, obviously, those 60 yards in the air, no fucking problem. So, again, we'll get into that a little bit later, but why those players say that, again, is because they need it. They need that kind of talent. You can give Mahomes trash, and he's going to make some fucking shit happen. Now, is he going to win Super Bowls that way or be as successful? Probably not, but he's still going to fucking win. My point is, he doesn't need mega superstars to fucking win a championship. You give him serviceable, he's going to carry those motherfuckers, right? No matter what. You give him a shitty offensive line, he's going to run out of the pocket. He's going to make you pay with his feet, right? So Brady is a statue. Brady needs an offensive line. He has to make damn sure that that line is solid so he can do his work. And we'll get into the Brady talk in a little bit later on in this video. I don't want to get off track here. I want to continue here. So let's look at a quarterback who did not take a discount, right? And still will make less than Patrick Mahomes in the course of his career. Drew Brees, $244.7 million so far. And I mean, yeah, he's going to make a little bit more, but he ain't making fucking over, 500. He's not making another 300 million or whatever in the course of the next couple of years. He's not reaching 503 million in the next couple of years, whatever he has left in the tank, right? Brees is almost out the door. Russell Wilson, who's again still has a lot of years, he's only made 79 million, and Kirk Cousins only made 60.5 million. Patrick Mahomes, and now here's a funny thing with Kirk Cousins, right? Let's think about that. So Kirk Cousins is making 60.5 million. It's a lot of money for early in the career. But do you really fucking think anybody is gonna, if he doesn't stay with the Vikings, you think any team is gonna give him another guaranteed contract like that after the bullshit numbers that he's put up and success or lack thereof that he's put up? No one's gonna look at Cam Newton. I didn't look up Cam Newton. I should have, but look at Cam Newton. One of the best in the league for a long time. Leaves Carolina, and the Patriots signed him to a $1 million contract, 1 year. So, again, I don't care that some quarterback is going to sign a $50 million, salary contract in 6 years. So fucking what? What is that? Big deal. You're going to have that for a year, maybe 2, then you're going to suck, and they're going to re-sign it to another team for like half that fucking money. So you're going to make money for a bit. You're going to make your money. You ain't making Patrick Mahomes money, right? So that's why, yeah, he's still the highest paid quarterback, even though in certain years you're like, damn, he's making a little bit of money. But then in this other year, he makes a shitload of money. And I guess the biggest factor is its consistency. There's consistency for 10 years, why they're saying all of that money, when you put it together, it averages out to about $45 million a year in the course of 10 years. That's what it basically comes out to. That's what it equals. $45 million average salary a year. That's what he makes. For 10 years. No quarterback, again, a quarterback that might make $50 million for 2-3 seasons. Then they restructure his contract. They kick him out. He's out the door. He retires. They trade him, whatever. It ain't lasting for 10 years like that. Mahomes is. And that's without fucking with the contract. We don't know that in 5-6 years, the Chiefs like, you know what? You got us another 2 Super Bowls. The salary cap is way up here. We need to up your salary. We don't know. We're going to find out, right? We're going to find out. So, again, that's why I say it's one of those deals where it's kind of in between. There's a little bit of both. So for those fans that are saying, I'm worried in 5 years and 6 years when he's making the mega bucks, we're not going to have a team. Come on, guys. Don't fall for that. Don't stop listening to other fucking, Chief haters, because those are the ones who are saying it. Don't believe that bullshit. You think Brett Veach didn't have this shit figured out? You think he wasn't thinking about this from day one when he signed Mahomes? He even says it. He says it in interviews. And there's something that people aren't talking about enough. I want to give credit to Brett Veach and his brilliance. Do you really believe that if we still had John Dorsey, he would have been able to work this kind of a fucking deal out? John Dorsey's an idiot. And now, as far as money-wise, he was a great GM when it came to talent and scouting and all that. He helped build this team to a championship. What he killed us, though, in was his lack of negotiation skills and salary cap. He just did not give a shit. He would just spend money, which is partly why Clark Hunt got rid of him. Because he was just like, how are we going to build a team when you're just spending crazy money? You're not using this stuff wisely. Brett Veach understood that, looked at the talent, understood he has Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in football, the best athlete in football, knew that in the next couple of years, very soon here, we have to give this guy a huge contract. How do we make this work? And he's been working on this probably for the last 2 years, thinking about how they're going to do this deal. And this is what we got. It's amazing. So I trust Brett Veach wholeheartedly. He's proven that he understands and knows what he's doing and always has a plan. So you think he's not going to have a plan in 5 and 6 years? there was another dumb thing that I heard that people were saying, you know, the consistency with the team, and maybe the GM's not going to be there in 5 and 6 years. What's Mahomes going to do? Veach ain't going anywhere. Reed is another story. Give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. I got to take a quick pause. All right, sorry about that, guys. Had to take a quick pause there for a second. We're talking about Brett Veach and Andy Reid. Now, I said Andy Reid might be a different story, that he may or may not be there in 5, 6 years, and that just has to do with he just may retire, right? Even though in the last interview he did say he's not thinking about that, and he's ready to roll, but he's up there now. Is it possible that he coaches the length of Mahomes' career? Possibly. I mean, that's a lot to ask, though. He's up there in age, you know. So my hope is, you know, this is probably wishful thinking, but honestly, if I was Clark Hunt and wanted to build a legacy, and we're going to get into the legacy stuff and all that, and Dynasty and Destiny and all that, I would tell Eric Bieniemy, our offensive coordinator, I'd be like, look, Reed, you know, and I would even sit down and Reed, like, look, you know, what are you thinking right now? Are you thinking 3-4 more years? You know, what as far as retirement, like, you know, he's up there, right? Because if we win 2 more, let's say we win 2 more in the next 2 years, let's say we go fucking 3-peat, whatever. They win 3 championships with Reed. Or even, you know, yeah, like they win 3, right? And he's like, fuck it, I'm good. He's been coaching for over 20 years. He won 3 Super Bowls. That's a career, man. That's a Hall of Fame, first ballot, one of the greatest coaches of all time career, right up there with Belichick, right? And even Belichick is getting fucking knocked down each level, because again, there's never been any cheating scandals in fucking Reed's career. So, you know, that's a whole different story. But he may just call it quits and retire with 3 championships in the next 3-4 years, and then maybe, so let's say that's what they say, right? In 4 years, Reed's gonna retire, and we're going to hand the reins over to you. If I was Clark Hunt, I would fucking offer Eric Bieniemy a shit ton of money as far as an offensive coordinator, make him the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL just to keep him. Look at what Josh McDaniels did with the Patriots. He wanted to stay there because of the championships and all that, even though he kept getting offers and then did the whole wishy-washy, I'm going to go to Miami, and then said, fuck it, I'm coming back, right? If I was Eric Bieniemy and I was Clark Hunt, I would be like, look, just don't worry about it. We're going to make you the head. You will be the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and you will guide Patrick Mahomes' second half of his career. Just be patient. In the meantime, I'm going to make you the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL, so you're taken care of. Don't fucking worry about it. Then, when Reed retires in the next 3 or 4 years, or, you know, or for even 5, fuck it. You take over the next 5 years, 6, 7 years of Mahomes' career. You guys are right there. There is the connection. So we lose almost nothing. Right, I would do, like, if I was Clark Hunt, I'm hoping that they do that. Maybe they're thinking that. We don't even know, right? Brett Veach right along with them. Brett Veach ain't going nowhere. He's young. He knows how to navigate through the salary cap. So the only time you see a general manager and a head coach get fired, and offensive coordinators get fired and move on, or at least the head coach and the GM mostly, is when they suck, okay? The Chiefs ain't going to suck anytime soon. So Brett Veach ain't going anywhere for the next 10 years. And Andy Reid may retire in the next 5. So within the next 5, maybe sooner or later, but at least 5 for sure, and then Eric Bieniemy can slide right on in there. I know that's a lot to ask, but if you were given the choice to stay the offensive coordinator of the best football player in the NFL and the best quarterback, and possibly by the time it's all said and done, the greatest quarterback of all time, and be his offensive coordinator, and then transition and get promoted to the head coach of that same team that's already won a couple of championships by that point, to guide him into the second half of his career with the same team, and see how much further you can take it as a head coach, and maybe get 3 or 4 more championships. Why wouldn't you? What's the alternative? I'm going to go get a huge amount of money, because then you're still going to get a lot of money. You're still being paid highest paid offensive coordinator for the Chiefs if they did that. And then you'd be paid as a head coach in a couple of years. Or you could go take a good quick payday in some other fucking shitty team, like the Dolphins or the Cardinals or the Bengals or even the Jaguars and go be their head coach and get paid a lot of money and then suck ass. And who are you stuck with? What quarterback? None of them are going to be Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to have the talent. You're going to get paid, and then they're going to be like, oh, see, it was all Andy Reid, right? Because you're like rebuilding a shitty team from the ground up, right? Now, that's not to say that EB can't go to another shitty, some shitty franchise and really uplift that franchise and turn it around. But it takes a lot. It's not just up to the head coach. He's going to have to take scout. He ain't taking Brett Veach. Brett Veach ain't going to go with him, right? He'll stay with Kansas City. Why would he leave, right? Because he's building a dynasty there. He's not going to go anywhere. They're going to lock him in, especially if they're winning. So he doesn't have the luxury of an Andy Reid who left an organization that was losing. They fired him because they were losing, right? They weren't getting it done. Obviously there was a lot of circumstances to the Eagles, tragedy struck, all kinds of fucked up things happened during Reid's time there. Never really had the squad that he could really depend on to get them over the hump. So they eventually fired him. By then, again, the GMs, the scouting departments, he had built all these relationships of people that were coming and going. No one was like begging to stay with the Eagles. If you had a choice, like, okay, here's a middle of the road franchise, and then there's Andy Reid going to this new franchise that the Chiefs, or not new franchise, but this new team, he's going to go coach a different team and try to rebuild it. Well, fuck, you know what? Let's go over there. Shit, they got some talent over there. He just brought in Alex Smith. They got these young receivers. They got that young tight end, Travis Kelce. So you get excited, right? So circumstance. Eric Bieniemy is not going to have that. He's not going to have that luxury. He's building relationships, of course, but he's not going to have the luxury of leaving the Chiefs and then the core group of people that he built relationships with, other scouts, other assistant coaches. They're not going to like run out the door to follow him to a shitty team, right? Because the Chiefs at that point are still going to be winning. That's why people are going to try to get Eric Bieniemy, right? So it's a different situation. So I think, and I hope, beyond hope, that this in some shape or form happens, that whether we have Reid for the next 3 or 4 years before he retires, and they do something where they take care of Eric Bieniemy and tell him, look, just be patient, bro. Don't fucking worry about other stupid ass franchises. I know you want to be a head coach, and being a black head coach in the NFL, I know it's a big thing, but do you want to just be another black head coach for some shitty team, or do you want to be a black head coach for the best team? Way different, right? I like that. Not only is it uplifting for the black community and the minority community, and it says something about the NFL, but then he'll be successful and continue to coach Mahomes and coach a Super Bowl winning team and carry the legacy on, carry the baton from Andy Reid to him. I mean, that'd be fucking awesome. It'd be great for us, right? So I hope that happens. I'm really, because that is the fear that a lot of the success of the Chiefs and Mahomes, a lot of it has to do with Andy Reid. Shit, we were successful before Mahomes took over. We didn't win any Super Bowls, but we were a winning franchise. For the last 9 seasons, we've been a winning franchise under Andy Reid. That's a huge success. So for people that are I was on Facebook today, and there was a bunch of jackasses talking about how, the Chiefs are arrogant now. They had a couple of good seasons. A couple of good seasons? A couple of good seasons. Are you fucking retarded? Sorry for the, retarded comment. And I know we're not supposed to say things like that. I'm not disparaging any mentally ill people. I mean, like, are you fucking, like, come on, are you stupid? Are you ignorant? Like, the Chiefs have had 9 winning seasons in a row. Like, missed the playoffs only one time under Andy Reid, and the only reason that happened was because the AFC was so successful and so stacked that year that 9 wins couldn't get you in. Unlike sometimes, the NFC or even the AFC, when they suck, fucking 9 wins get you in the playoffs. Are you kidding me? It's bullshit. Like, how do you have a winning record and you don't get in? Like, that's wild, right? And they missed it by again because they were 9-7, and the Broncos were 10-6, and they went, right. And the Broncos they won the division by a game, and they went to the playoffs. They didn't do shit, but they went, and so That's what I'm saying. So again, to say that they only had a couple of winning, no, we only had the most success in the last few seasons. You can say that all day for sure. We've had the most success in the last couple of seasons, but we've been successful over the last 9, and they've been a winning franchise for a large part of their history. I mean, we had great years with Trent Green. We had great years with Joe Montana. We had a couple of good years with Matt Castle, and then there was a lot of bullshit after that, and there was a lot of bullshit before Joe Montana, and crap and shitty play and, not much success. But one thing has been always true is that we still dominate the AFC West. If you look at the win-loss record overall between the Broncos, Chargers, and Raiders against the Chiefs, we beat all of them when it comes to complete wins and loss record. I think the closest ones is the Broncos, but we still have more wins over them than they do over us in the entire history of the franchises, is what I'm talking about. So that's the history, or not the thought process about Andy Reid and the Chiefs and their longevity in the dynasty. What can derail that, right? I don't really see that happening again. I think the thing that would be some random ass coach that you get from the outside who just fucking sucks, and then the team would be horrible. Even with Mahomes and Kelsey and Hill, if they were still there, and Hardman, with a bad coach, yeah, you can destroy a fucking team. We've seen it. It happens all the time. So I trust Brett Veach. I trust the Chiefs organization. I think they understand what they have. They know what they have, and they know what's coming down the pike. So, I think they're preparing for that stuff. And maybe in the back of their mind, they're looking at Eric Bieniemy and is like, just be patient. We're going to make you the man. We just got to wait this out. Let's just see. And in the meantime, you still get to, coach Mahomes, and learn from Andy Reid. Who wouldn't want to just continue to learn from that man? Why wouldn't you want to just be patient? And Eric Bieniemy's young as fuck. He's still young for a coach. So he got time. Got a lot of time. So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, the name of this episode is, was about Patrick Mahomes' contract, Dynasty, Destiny, and what was the other thing I said? I forget, whatever, Dynasty, Destiny, and whatever the goddamn episode is. But it's one of those things, like, is it destiny? Yeah, right? If you look at the things that have happened, the things that will happen, Mahomes, they've said it, he's a generational player, and I wish I could find it. There was a article, or not article, there was a press conference that he had when he took over the team the first year. His first year as a starter, when he took over the team over Alex Smith. They asked him about Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, Sammy Watkins, and Demarcus Robinson. This is before we had Nicole, right? And they asked him, like, you guys got a lot of speed players. You got, all the, what do you think of this new offense and what you've got coming in? And he said that, and Kareem Hunt, when Kareem Hunt was still on the team. He said with him and Kareem, and Tyreek and Kelce, that they had the potential to become the next dynasty, to become a dynasty offense. He said this 3 years ago, and people tried to rip him for it. They were like, Mahomes talking about a dynasty. He hasn't even hit the field yet, blah, 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 right? And fucking hating. And it wasn't Mahomes being arrogant. It wasn't Mahomes being like, yeah, we're the shit. It was, he knew what they were capable of. He saw the speed. He saw it every day in practice, and he knew if we're rolling, ain't nobody stopping us. He knew it. And now people are saying it. Now you hear it in every sports show and every article. Are the Chiefs the new dynasty? Yeah, we will be. Who's going to stop us? Who's going to stop us? Mahomes almost went to the Super Bowl twice already in his 2 years as a starter. He was one penalty away, an offsides away from going to the Super Bowl again. And even that's questionable. I don't think fucking D Ford was offsides. What, by a fucking skin of the paint of the helmet? Get the fuck out of here, okay? And especially on a play where Brady gets intercepted. He wasn't that offsides to influence that play to call that. So fuck you. But it happened, right? So it is what it is, right? But imagine if that call doesn't get made. Game's over. Chiefs win. AFC Championship. 2 years ago. They go to the Super Bowl. You think the Rams are going to beat the Chiefs that year? Look what they did against the Patriots, who didn't have the firepower that the Chiefs have. Chiefs would have annihilated them. That wouldn't have been as great as this Super Bowl, where it was so dramatic in the comeback. That's awesome, right? But I have no doubts that the Chiefs would have beat the Rams. It would have been horrific. Probably 50 burger. We'd be sitting here talking about Patrick Mahomes as of 2 Super Bowls in his first 2 years as a starter. Like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I mean, we're already saying that, but the fact that he didn't go to the first time makes him at least a little human. And again, it wasn't even his fault. He still outplayed Brady. It wasn't even his fault, right? Not like he threw a last-minute interception like Brady did, right? So yes, you are looking at the next dynasty in the NFL. And it goes back to my point. Like, is it destiny? Is Mahomes destined to become the greatest quarterback of all time when it's all said and done? I think so. I've said it before. He's a generational player. He's the kind of player that right now are making little kids, as they're sitting there watching football with their dads, are probably not even paying attention. The dad's probably watching football, maybe even for another team, right? Maybe rooting for the team that the Chiefs are playing against. And the little boy walks into the room and sees Patrick Mahomes throw a no-look pass. Looks at the score and sees that the Chiefs are down 30-7. Just kind of walks in the room, looks at it, like, oh, who's winning, Dad? Oh, the Ravens are winning 30-7. Oh, the game's over, Oh, yeah, that team sucks, Goes and plays with his toys, walks back in 20 minutes later, and looks at the screen, and it's like, oh, are they still winning? No, they're losing now. What do you mean? All of a sudden, the score's like 37-30. And he started, wait, wasn't that team getting annihilated? Wasn't that team getting beat? And then he starts looking, and he starts seeing this kid, Mahomes. Now, again, I'm just using the Ravens as an example. Not that kind of score happened, but obviously it can, right? That's what makes people pay attention. Even as a kid, that's what makes young boys and girls now pay attention to sports. When you see stuff like that, when you walk in a room, you're not even paying attention, you don't really give a shit, and you see a score, a blowout almost, then you go about your business, and then you walk back in a couple of minutes later, and all of a sudden the tide is turned. All of a sudden that score is reversed. And you're like, wait a minute, that team was getting the crap kicked out of them. What just happened? What did I miss? And then you start watching, you start seeing this unfold. That's what we're witnessing right now, folks. Like, you're watching a generational player, a player, again, one of the greatest of all time, in the making, as it's happening in real time. Now, you could think about guys like Michael Jordan and Joe Montana, and Brady, and I'll get into that in a second. They were never, like, there's a reason why they're saying that Patrick Mahomes can be the next Michael Jordan of football. Because Michael Jordan was hands down the best on every level. He was a shooter. His defense was great. His physical abilities, his physical talent, no one could rival. There might have been better 3-point shooters, but that's all they did, right? But Jordan had a great 3-point shot too. There was other good, like, just outside shooters, but they didn't have his physical gifts. They didn't have his drive to the basket. His dunking skills. There was you got Hakeem Olajuwon, who had a great dunking skills, but couldn't shoot outside as well as Jordan. Didn't have the clutch gene the way Jordan did. So when you have all those things, when you're physically better, and then your playability is better than everybody else, you are the best. People compare LeBron James to Michael Jordan, and some argue, the younger generation, that LeBron is better because stats and all that. Well, no, because first of all, he started in high school, right out of high school, just like Kobe did, and barely rivals the numbers. It doesn't have the same amount of championships. But again, the fact of the matter is, if you took Michael Jordan in his prime and LeBron in his prime, Jordan would outplay him all over. Like, everybody fucking knows it because he did it to bigger dudes. Now, and I love LeBron. I think LeBron's a great talent, but he's just not the greatest of all time. Jordan was better, right? And if Jordan played in this era, are you fucking kidding me? With no defense basketball? Come on, bro. Like, watch some old tape. Watch some old tape of basketball. And they mauled Jordan. There's a famous clip of Shaquille O'Neal's rookie year, straight up smacking the shit out of Jordan, like on a dunk. Like, Jordan goes to try to dunk and he's still, and fucking Shaq just smacks him down. Completely illegal in today's basketball, in today's NBA. But you could do that back then, right? So it's the same with Mahomes. So now I want to, like I said, we're going to talk about Brady, and I wanted to talk about his whole greatest of all time moniker. I disagree. Yeah, he has the 6 rings. Can't argue, right? Can't deny that. But he's not the greatest of all time. He's not. And I'll point out some very, very simple facts, right? I will say that he is the greatest systems quarterback of all time, for sure. I'll give you that all day. He's best system quarterback of all time we've ever seen. Probably the best, greatest cerebral quarterback. He has probably one of the greatest minds of a quarterback we've ever seen. High football IQ, even probably better than Peyton Manning. Because when it came to clutch, when it came to understanding and dissecting those defenses, no one did it better, right? I mean, Manning was great, but when it came to the playoffs and the postseason, he wasn't as good. Great during the season, and then, kind of fucked it up during the postseason. Brady never did. Like, he always was surgical. However, Brady didn't have the biggest arm. Brady wasn't the most athletic on the field, even amongst his own fucking team. So, how can you sit there and tell me? Now, again, I'm not denying his success, other than maybe 2 Super Bowls. I don't count 2 because fuck you cheated. You cheated. And 2 of the other Super Bowls were won on the leg of Adam Vinatieri. So there's 4 out of your 6 that are questionable where you're like, so he really won 2, right? Like, on his own, that like he can say he won. The other 2 were on a fucking the leg of a kicker, a great kicker, Hall of Fame kicker, and then you fucking cheated. So whatever. But the fact is, Tom Brady did not have the greatest arm, even his own era. Okay, I'm not even bringing Mahomes talking about it. Let's just look at Tom Brady's era. Aaron Rodgers was arguably the better athlete and the better arm talent, and even like cerebral, like he could dissect a team pretty well too. The fact is, he was on a shitty team with a shitty coach, or at least not Bill Belichick, and not to the and the core around him. He never had the offensive line. They won 1 Super Bowl, then couldn't get over the hump again, and that team was kind of dysfunctional. Right? Didn't have the leadership. So he only won 1. And so you don't talk about him the way you talk about Tom Brady. But if you put Aaron Rodgers on the Patriots, you think Tom Brady wins that many without that Patriots team? Do you think we're talking about Tom Brady as being the greatest? Like, is he going to wow the screen? Is he going to wow the camera and the fans just by himself outside of the Patriots? Or if Aaron Rodgers and the Patriots, you're looking at a man who's not only six-time Super Bowl champion and successful, but then is better than everybody else on the field, or than every other quarterback, just talent-wise, athletically-wise. And even then, like it's like, is even Aaron Rodgers the most athletic quarterback? No, because then you got guys like Michael Vick. You have guys like Cam Newton. You put Cam Newton on the Patriots back then. I'm not counting now because I don't think it's the same team, and Cam Newton's older. We don't even know if he's healthy anymore. But you put Cam Newton on there in his prime, let him stay with the Patriots that long, you're looking at a very successful, monster athletic quarterback with maybe 5-6 championships. And you're looking at Cam Newton as the greatest of all time because not only does he have the success, but then no one can rival his athletic ability. You can't say that about Tom Brady, right? Everybody is better than Tom Brady when it came to athleticism. Who the fuck do you... I'm talking about starters, like legitimate superstar quarterbacks. Who can you name me that Tom Brady's better than when it came to athleticism? He's not. He's a fucking statue. He's like the last throwback from old school. Even Joe Montana, right? Old school quarterbacks. I was going to say he's a throwback to old school quarterbacks, but that's not even true. I think Peyton Manning was more athletic, not by much, but he was. Phillip Rivers is more athletic. I mean, he's a turnover machine, but was more athletic. But even Joe Montana was an athletic quarterback. He was a running quarterback, which automatically made Joe Montana better. He was a running quarterback. He was a scrambling quarterback. Brady was never that. That's why he fucking went in the 6th round. There's a reason why his goofy ass went in the 6th round. Because everybody looked at him like, this guy has no athleticism. But they underestimated his mind for sure. I'm not taking away his mind. Very, very intelligent. The guy knew football, or knows football, right? No one's saying that he doesn't. But I'm sorry, you cannot be the greatest of all time. You cannot claim that and you lack in so many other areas. Because and then you want to point to a stat, yeah, he holds a lot of the records, passing records and QBR and all this other stuff, completions and how many times he's been to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship and all that. Yeah, you can point to all that. But again, system quarterback. The greatest is he was on the best team in football for 10 years or whatever, or 10, 20 years. That team dominated everybody. So all you needed was a serviceable quarterback with a brilliant mind. But he was not the best quarterback on the field, even in his own time. Because you had guys like Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers and Cam Newton, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, all physically more gifted. So how are you the greatest of all time? We're not even more physically gifted than those guys. You have more success, for sure. You have more championships, yes. But only because you were on that team and with Bill Belichick. If you were on any other team, it's not going to happen. I think Bill Belichick still wins a couple of championships with other quarterbacks, depending on who it is, right? He probably would have won 3 with Manning. At least 2 he would have won with Manning, maybe 3. But Manning would have fucked up. He would have folded under pressure in the playoffs like he has done in the past. Probably would have won maybe 4 with Cam because Cam was a monster in his prime. Maybe not because then he would get... Well, no, he wouldn't have got injured as much. So I think he would have. They probably would have won at least 4 with Cam in his prime because Belichick would have protected him, right? Roethlisberger, maybe 3, who knows? But it's one of those deals where, again, Brady was in the perfect storm when it came to that, and so the circumstances lead you to believe, and it's easy to say the greatest of all time, but I'm sorry, I do not believe if you took him out of there that he would have been as successful, and the numbers would have never been even anywhere close. Take away the championships. I'm talking about just the numbers. So you take Mahomes out of the Chiefs. So that's what everybody wants to talk about, right? Oh, the team. And it is. Again, that's part of it. Football's a team sport. So part of it is definitely the team, for sure. But you took Mahomes out, his physical gifts are still going to carry him to a lot of success, no matter where he is, right? It's just if he's on a successful team with a lot of talent, it's just the sky's the limit. There's no stopping him. But if you put him on the Browns or you put him with the Cardinals, the Redskins, until they change that name because it's racist. It's always been racist. But we've always known that. We've just accepted it. I'll save that for another video. I was going to try to fit it in, but this video is already long enough. Any of the shitty teams. Name one. Cardinals, Jaguars, I guess, suck now. The Jets, right? Mahomes are going to get them. He's going to instantly make them a playoff team. Will they win Super Bowls with them without any more talent? Probably not. But he instantly makes any team a playoff team. Now, you can say that about Brady as well, but Brady's not breaking records on his own like that. He's not. I think Mahomes easily breaks records no matter what team he's on. The level of that will be different. Like again, Drew Brees had passing records and all that with the Saints. So I don't think you could say that with Tom Brady. I'm sorry, you can't. So that's why at the end of the day, when all is said and done, and the end of Mahomes' career, based on his physical gifts, his arm strength, his arm talent, his football IQ, because again, he has a brilliant mind as well in his young age. And I think the difference between his mind and Brady's mind is Brady completely understands everything that's going on because of his experience. He looks at a defense, he knows exactly what he's going to do because he can rely on his experience and he knows what's going to happen. Mahomes relies on his instincts of what he believes is going to happen because he kind of recognizes things. He's starting to see things. There's some stuff he does know, like, oh, I've seen this before. Other stuff, when he doesn't, he can dissect the field and so quickly that he trusts his instincts. He's like, I think it looks like this guy's going to go fucking do this. Looks like he's going to go out straight and cut this way. If I can get him to do that, I'm going to fucking throw it over here. Like, he's just quick like that. He's brilliant like that. But that's instinct. Those are instincts and like improvisational skills, right? That have served him well. And then what's going to happen when he no longer needs that? He's not really relying on instinct. He's relying on memory and fact because he's seen all this shit before. That's just insane, right? So, again, when all is said and done, yes, I believe Mahomes will be the greatest quarterback of all time that we've ever seen because he's going to have the championships and he's going to have the records, and then you can't deny his physical ability. You can't, right? So, let's see. We're getting up here, and where are we at? 30 minutes in. I forget how those couple of those breaks were. What else do we want to talk about? Talk a little bit about Cam. I don't want to talk about that again. What else do I have? We talked about that. Yeah, I guess we covered everything for the most part. Oh, I do remember. I do have one other thing. I've been hearing people talk about the championship. How many championships? There was on the NFL Network. They were talking about how many championships is Patrick Mahomes going to win this year, or in his career. How many championships is he going to win in his career when it's all said and done? And everybody's being modest about it. Like, oh yeah, at least 2 more. He might win 2. You know, maybe he wins 4, but at least 2 more. So he'll win at least 3. And that's great. That'd be awesome. And some people are happy with just the 1. I'm not. And from what I see with Patrick Mahomes, the way he carries himself, the way his personality is, that secret anger, that secret kind of like chip on his shoulder. Like, yeah, he's a very humble kid. He's very well spoken and like doesn't talk a lot of shit. But there's a killer instinct in his eye. If you really look at the way he plays, like there's something about it, like everybody's calling Tom Brady the greatest of all time. Mahomes wants to be the greatest of all time, and he doesn't want to leave a question mark. He's looking at things like that. He looks at personal goals, like he said. Coming out of college, he said he wanted to prove that he wasn't a product of the air raid system, that he wasn't an air raid quarterback, that was what he played in, but he was a quarterback, right? He said his first goal, if you go look, there's an interview with John Gruden on the Gruden, QB camp or whatever. And he asked him, what would you do? What would you say? What would you do? He's like, I want to be successful because I want to break the myth of these Texas Tech, air raid quarterbacks. I want to show the world that we're more than that we can be like legit, real NFL caliber quarterbacks. It's not just a system. He proved it, right? And then once he did, it's like, okay, what's next? What are they saying? Oh, like, you need your footwork, and you're not a real quarterback, and we need to see, and then he goes out and does what he fucking does, becomes the MVP, 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. Everybody's like, holy crap, right? Oh, well, you haven't won the Super Bowl, like, goes to the AFC Championship for the first time, takes the team, right? That became his thing. I want to go to the AFC Championship. I want to win it. Obviously, he wanted to win it. They got screwed out of that. Makes it his goal the following year to not only go, but to win it, to give that to the Clark Hunt, or to the Hunt family, win the AFC Championship, and then win the Super Bowl for Andy Reid. Check that off the goddamn list, right? So now, again, I talked about another video. What is his next goal? What is he setting? He's eyeing history. He's eyeing legacy and destiny. So what will be next? A perfect season? Okay. He's going to go out and do that. MVPs are going to happen. Those are going to come. Championships are going to happen. But he's looking at other things. I want a perfect season with the championship. How many times has that been done? Let's go do that. Brady has 6 championships. Cool story, bro. I'm going to go get 7. I guarantee you, if we can be a fly on the wall in him and Brittany's house when they're just talking to themselves, he's telling her that. He's like, I'm going to win 7. Watch. Don't say this publicly, but I want to win 7 championships. I want to beat Brady's record. I want to beat the Patriots' record. So we'll leave no doubt that I'm the greatest quarterback of all time. Like, whether he says that out loud or not, that's what he believes. That's what he is striving for. You can just see it. The way he plays, what he wants to accomplish, it's not, it's like just winning a championship isn't enough. Just being an MVP isn't enough. Why did you do this if you're not going to be the best? And he said that before. You do this to be the best. There's one way you can be the best and leave no fucking questions. Go win 7. Go win 7. And I believe he will. I believe he's young enough. He's already has 1, almost had fucking 2, right? Depending on what happens with this season, with the COVID and all that. I hope we have a season. If we do, he's going to win another one. They're going to go back to back. Maybe even a 3-peat, right? Who's going to stop him? Mahomes wins 7. Mark my words. I don't know if I said it before on the podcast. It's January 12th, 2:38 p.m. in 2020. Mahomes is going to win 7 championships. That's all I got for you guys this week. Join me next week for another episode of Most Foul Chief. I'm going to leave you with one more thing. Dan Clor, calling you out again. Stop fucking ducking me, homie. Stop ducking me. Come get this ass whooping. Okay, when you do this watch along, all right, you're over screwing around with AWF podcast, right? We got a little episode we got to put together. Right? I got to appear on that, and I'm going to call him out there too, all right? Stop ducking me, homie. Stop ducking me. Come get this ass whooping. Let's do this watch along. Just accept it. I'll see you guys later. This is Dante Penn, Most Foul Chief. Peace.